Today, we are diving into one of the rarest and most valuable coins in American numismatic history, a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors around the world. We are talking about the 1935 no-mint mark Buffalo nickel, a coin that, in today's market, is valued at a staggering $7 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $7 million. This coin is not just a piece of metal. It is a window into American history, artistry, and the thrilling world of coin collecting. If you have ever wondered what makes a coin so incredibly rare, or how some coins can turn ordinary collectors into instant millionaires, you are in the right place. Today, we will explore its history, why it is so rare, what to look for, and what makes it so valuable. Let's start by taking a step back in time to 1935. The United States was still recovering from the Great Depression. Franklin D. Roosevelt was president, and the country was in a period of transition, economically and socially. During this time, the Buffalo nickel, also known as the Indian head nickel, was already a familiar coin in everyday transactions. The Buffalo nickel was first introduced in 1913 and was designed by James Earl Fraser, one of the most famous sculptors of his time. Fraser's design was inspired by a desire to celebrate the American frontier and its indigenous peoples. On the obverse side of the coin, we see the profile of a Native American chief, a composite portrait based on several real-life individuals, representing the dignity and resilience of Native Americans. On the reverse side, there is the image of a majestic American bison, often believed to be modeled after Black Diamond, a buffalo that lived at the Central Park Zoo in New York. By 1935, the Buffalo nickel had already become an iconic piece of American coinage. However, during that year, a certain variation of the coin was minted that would eventually become extraordinarily rare: the 1935 no-mint mark Buffalo nickel. Coins from this era were minted at 3 facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark, while Denver and San Francisco did. However, the 1935 no-mint mark version is exceptionally rare due to a combination of low mintage and the fact that many coins were circulated heavily, worn down, or lost over time. This means that surviving specimens in excellent condition are incredibly scarce, making them a dream find for collectors. Now, why is this particular coin worth so much? First, rarity is a major factor. The 1935 no-mint mark Buffalo nickel has one of the lowest surviving populations among Buffalo nickels. Unlike other coins that might have thousands of high-grade examples in existence, the 1935 no-mint mark is extremely limited. Coin collectors and investors are willing to pay extraordinary amounts for such rarity, especially when combined with high-quality preservation. Second, the condition of the coin matters immensely. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to mint state, and even small differences in grade can translate into massive differences in value. A 1935 no-mint mark Buffalo nickel in uncirculated or mint condition is nearly priceless. Professional grading services, such as PCGS and NGC, have authenticated and graded surviving coins, helping establish their true market value. The higher the grade, the closer the coin gets to its astronomical value of $7 million. Another aspect contributing to the coin's value is its historical significance. The Buffalo nickel represents a period in American history that is deeply cherished. Its design is not only beautiful but also symbolic of the country's respect for its heritage and natural history. The Native American and buffalo motifs make it a cultural treasure. When collectors purchase such a coin, they are not only acquiring a rare collectible but also a piece of American art and history that tells a story nearly a century old. Now let's talk about the journey of a 1935 no-mint mark Buffalo nickel from obscurity to the status of an ultra-rare collectible. Like many coins, it began its life in everyday circulation. People used it for buying groceries, paying for services, or saving in jars at home. Most Buffalo nickels from the 1930s were heavily circulated, which makes surviving examples in high condition even more remarkable. Over the decades, numismatists and collectors began to recognize the significance of these coins, especially rare variations like the 1935 no-mint mark. As the coin collecting hobby grew, so did the appreciation for these rare nickels. Auctions for these coins now attract attention from collectors worldwide, with bids often reaching into the millions. The rarity and value of the coin are further amplified by the stories of discovery. Many 1935 no-mint mark buffalo nickels are found by chance in old coin collections, safety deposit boxes, or inherited estates. Imagine someone discovering a coin worth $7 million in a forgotten jar or drawer. These stories add a layer of excitement and mystique to the coin. It is not just about monetary value. It is about the thrill of discovery, the history it carries, and the pride of owning a piece of numismatic legend. Investors and collectors looking to acquire a 1935 no-mint mark buffalo nickel must also consider authenticity. The market for rare coins is complex, and unfortunately, counterfeit coins exist. Authentication by professional grading services is essential to ensure that a coin is genuine. These services examine the coin for wear patterns, metal composition, and other characteristics that confirm its authenticity. A verified coin from a reputable grading service can command its full market value, whereas an unverified coin will never reach its true potential. Now, let's break down some fascinating facts about this coin. The 1935 buffalo nickel is made of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it a distinctive weight and color that collectors can recognize. Its diameter is 21.2 millimeters, and it has a thickness of 1.95 millimeters. Though small in size, its impact on the collecting world is enormous. Another interesting fact is that James Earl Fraser's design was almost never discontinued. Even after the buffalo nickel was replaced by the Jefferson nickel in 1938, its influence remains in American coinage. The 1935 no-mint mark is a final gem of this legendary series. Collectors are particularly fascinated by die variations and minting anomalies in buffalo nickels, which can significantly increase value. Subtle differences in the buffalo's horn, the Native American's hair, or the placement of letters can turn a common coin into a rare variety. Experts study these details meticulously, and coins with unique characteristics often fetch premiums at auctions. For the 1935 no-mint mark, even slight variations in strike and preservation can have a huge impact on price. Let's also consider the market value trajectory. The 1935 no-mint mark buffalo nickel has appreciated enormously over the past few decades. While initially just another coin in circulation, collectors recognized its rarity, and prices began to skyrocket. Today, with the current market value estimated at $7 million, it stands as one of the most expensive nickels ever sold. Only a handful of coins have reached such high auction prices, making it a true icon in the world of rare coins. Owning a 1935 no-mint mark buffalo nickel is about more than just money. It is about prestige, historical appreciation, and participation in a world of collectors who value heritage and artistry. Auctions for such coins are often televised or covered in numismatic publications, attracting attention from collectors, investors, and history enthusiasts alike. Imagine the pride and excitement of bidding on a coin with such incredible historical and financial value. It is not simply a transaction. It is a moment in history itself. For those aspiring to find or own a 1935 no-mint mark buffalo nickel, the journey is thrilling. Rare coins are discovered in the most unexpected places. Sometimes they are hidden in old coin collections, passed down through generations, or even found in circulation by diligent collectors. Patience, knowledge, and a keen eye for detail are essential for anyone looking to acquire such a treasure. Attending coin shows, auctions, and staying connected with the numismatic community is a vital part of the search.in conclusion. The 1935 no-mint mark buffalo nickel is more than a coin. It is a symbol of American history, artistry, and the enduring appeal of rare collectibles. Its staggering market value of $7 million reflects not only its rarity but also the reverence collectors have for it. From the design by James Earl Fraser to the historical significance and the thrill of discovery, this coin captures the imagination of anyone interested in numismatics. It is a reminder that sometimes the smallest objects can hold the greatest value. Whether you are a seasoned collector, an investor, or someone who simply appreciates history, the story of the 1935 no-mint mark buffalo nickel is fascinating. Welcome back, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and history enthusiasts. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most sought-after and incredibly valuable coins in American numismatics, the 1959 D-Mint mark Jefferson nickel. This is not just any nickel. With a current market value of around $3 million, This coin is a true gem in the world of rare coins. Whether you are a serious collector, an investor, or simply fascinated by American history, this video will take you on an amazing journey through the story, rarity, and staggering value of this incredible Jefferson nickel. First, let's talk about the history of the Jefferson nickel itself. The Jefferson nickel has been an important part of American coinage since 1938, when it replaced the Buffalo nickel. The coin features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, on the obverse, and his famous residence, Monticello, on the reverse. The Jefferson nickel was designed to honor Jefferson's contributions to American history, and its design has remained relatively consistent over the decades, making certain years and mint marks stand out as highly collectible. Among these, the 1959D nickel is a standout example. Now, what makes the 1959D Jefferson nickel so unique and valuable? First, the D mint mark indicates that this coin was minted at the Denver Mint, one of the major U.S. mints producing coins for circulation. While millions of nickels were produced that year across various mints, the 1959D stands apart due to a combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand. Many coins from that era were heavily circulated, which makes uncirculated specimens extremely scarce. Collectors who manage to find a pristine 1959D Jefferson nickel often find themselves holding a piece of history that is not only beautiful but also incredibly valuable. The 1959D nickel is particularly important because it represents a transitional period in U.S. coinage. During the 1950s, the Denver Mint produced a huge volume of coins for everyday circulation, yet the survival rate of high-grade examples from this year is surprisingly low. Coins that remain in mint condition are exceptionally rare, and that rarity is a major factor driving its astronomical value today. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that is over 6 decades old, with crisp details of Jefferson's portrait and Monticello, nearly untouched by time, and worth millions of dollars in today's market. Let's break down the factors that influence the value of this coin. The first factor is the condition or grade. In numismatics, coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a perfect, flawless coin. The 1959D Jefferson nickel that can command prices in the millions is typically graded as MS65 or higher, meaning it is in mint state with minimal imperfections. Coins with lower grades, showing wear from circulation, are considerably less valuable. The second factor is rarity. While hundreds of millions of nickels were minted in 1959, the number of high-grade coins that survived over 60 years without any damage is extremely low. This scarcity creates intense competition among collectors and investors, driving the price through the roof. Finally, historical significance plays a role. Coins like the 1959D Jefferson nickel are not just monetary instruments. They are windows into America's past. They tell a story of craftsmanship, economy, and history, which makes them highly desirable for serious collectors and institutions. Now, let's talk about current market trends. As of today, the 1959D Jefferson nickel in top condition has a market value estimated at around $3 million. Yes, you heard that right, $3 million for a single 5-cent coin. This makes it one of the most valuable Jefferson nickels ever recorded. It is important to note that prices fluctuate based on market demand, collector interest, and coin grading results. Auction houses specializing in rare coins often see bidding wars for coins of this caliber, with wealthy collectors and investors competing fiercely to acquire such a rare treasure. These coins are not only prized possessions but also investment assets, as their value tends to increase over time, especially for high-grade examples that remain in pristine condition. Now, you might be wondering, how can someone identify a genuine 1959D Jefferson nickel worth this kind of money? First, you need to examine the coin carefully for the Denver Mint mark, a small D, located on the reverse side above Monticello. Next, check the coin's detail and luster. High-grade coins show sharp, well-defined features, such as Jefferson's hair, the lettering, and the Monticello building. The surface should be free from scratches, dings, or discoloration. Often, coins of this rarity are authenticated and graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, which guarantee their authenticity and quality. If you happen to find such a coin in your collection, you are literally holding a treasure that could make you a millionaire overnight. Let's also talk about the story behind some of the record-breaking sales of the 1959D Jefferson nickel. In recent years, high-grade specimens have appeared in auctions, attracting attention from collectors and investors worldwide. The combination of rarity, historical value, and pristine condition has resulted in these nickels fetching astronomical prices. Collectors who own these coins often describe them as once-in-a-lifetime finds, because opportunities to acquire a 1959 D Jefferson nickel in mint state are extremely rare. These coins are not just for display. They are investment-grade assets that could appreciate significantly over time, making them a powerful addition to any serious collection. Now, if you are thinking about collecting Jefferson nickels or investing in rare coins, the 1959D is an excellent example to understand the dynamics of the coin market. First, always focus on quality over quantity. A single high-grade coin can be worth far more than a stack of lower-grade coins. Second, use professional grading services to ensure authenticity. Third, stay informed about market trends, historical significance, and auction results. Knowledge is your greatest asset in coin collecting, and understanding why coins like the 1959 D Jefferson nickel are so valuable can help you make smart investment decisions. It's also fascinating to look at the artistic details of this coin. Jefferson's portrait on the obverse is both dignified and finely detailed. You can see the intricate work in his hair, the stern expression, and the elegance of the design. On the reverse, Monticello is depicted with precise lines and architectural beauty, symbolizing Jefferson's legacy and the craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint. Every line, curve, and detail adds to the coin's collectability and ultimately its value. It is a blend of history, art, and finance all in one small nickel-sized piece. In conclusion, the 1959 D Mint Mark Jefferson nickel is far more than a simple 5-cent coin. It is a historical artifact, a work of art, and an extraordinarily valuable investment. With its current market value of around $3 million, it represents one of the most remarkable stories in American coin collecting. Whether you are a seasoned collector, a history enthusiast, or someone just curious about rare coins, the 1959 D Jefferson nickel is a symbol of rarity, beauty, and financial opportunity. So, keep your eyes open, inspect your collections carefully, and never underestimate the potential of a single coin. Who knows, you might just have the next million-dollar treasure sitting in your drawer, waiting to be discovered. Remember, coins like the 1959 D Jefferson nickel are not just money. They are history, art, and fortune combined. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into one of the rarest and most valuable Jefferson nickels. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on more amazing coin stories and investment opportunities. And remember, every coin has a story. Some of them are worth a fortune. Until next time, happy collecting, and may your coin treasures be priceless. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating yet misunderstood coins in modern United States coinage history, the 1961 D Jefferson nickel. This coin might look ordinary to most people, but to collectors it carries a story that spans decades, connects to the heart of Jefferson nickel collecting, and highlights the interplay between mintage numbers, die varieties, collector demand, and market value. For the next 30 minutes, I'll take you from the history of the Jefferson nickel itself, to the specific production details of the 1961 D, to how condition and rarity affect value, and ultimately to why some believe these coins can be worth extraordinary sums, even claims in the millions, and what the real market tells us. This is your ultimate guide to the 1961 D Jefferson nickel. We begin with the story of the Jefferson nickel. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the long-running Buffalo nickel. The design was created by Felix Schlag, and features President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his home, Monticello, on the reverse. This design remains largely unchanged to this day, making the Jefferson nickel one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. The nickel was introduced at a time of transition in the United States, just before World War II, when the nation was still climbing out of the Great Depression. The design was chosen through a competition, and Schlag's submission was selected for its dignity and modern feel. Over the decades, small changes were made to the composition, especially during World War II when nickel metal was diverted for the war effort, but the core design endured. By the time we reached 1961, the Jefferson nickel had become a staple of American coinage. In that year, the United States Mint produced nickels at multiple facilities, including the Denver Mint. Coins struck in Denver bear a small D Mint mark on the reverse, a key piece of information for collectors and anyone interested in identifying and valuing these pieces. Now let's talk specifically about the 1961 D Jefferson nickel. The 1961 D was struck at the Denver Mint, and like other Jefferson nickels of the era, millions were produced. According to PCGS, the regular strike 1961 D Jefferson nickel is a typical circulation coin with standard mintage, and examples graded in collector condition have documented auction records on major platforms with realized prices typically in the low thousands for high grades, not millions. So if millions were struck, why do some collectors think this coin is so special? The answer comes down to two key factors: condition rarity and varieties/errors. First, let's talk about condition. Most circulating 1961 D nickels you'll find in pocket change today are well worn. That's because these coins saw everyday use for decades. When coins circulate heavily, the majority show wear, which closely mirrors their face value. As a result, most 1961 D nickels in average circulated condition are valued today at face value up to a few dollars, depending on eye appeal and minor condition factors. However, when you find a 1961 D in uncirculated condition, everything changes. Uncirculated coins, also called mint state, are coins that have no wear from circulation. These coins were never used in everyday transactions and retain their original strike quality and surface luster. In the world of coin collecting, mint state coins are vastly more desirable. A 1961 D Jefferson nickel graded MS65, MS66, or higher can command hundreds or even thousands of dollars in the open market if it has exceptional eye appeal and strike quality. So that's condition rarity. Mint state coins are rare relative to the millions of worn examples out there, and thus they are worth more. But condition alone doesn't drive values into the millions. That's where varieties and errors come into play. Coin varieties occur when differences happen during the striking process, differences that are consistent enough to be cataloged and recognized by the numismatic community. For Jefferson nickels, there are a handful of known varieties in the 1961 series. For example, coins with doubled die obverse design elements appear doubled due to a misalignment during die creation. Overdate varieties and other striking anomalies can be more valuable to specialized collectors. One such variety that has appeared in online listings is the 1961 DDO004 strong gem-proof doubled die obverse Jefferson nickel error. Listings on auction sites show that specific error varieties, when authenticated and graded by major grading services, can sell for a premium over regular strikes. But even rare varieties must be authenticated and graded before we can seriously discuss high values. Third-party grading services like PCGS, NGC, and Anax examine coins and assign them condition grades that are trusted by collectors and dealers around the world. A rare error in a high grade can indeed fetch significant sums, sometimes into the 5 figures or more, but this is extremely uncommon and requires expert verification. Now let's address the claim that a 1961 D Jefferson nickel could be worth $2 million as of the latest auction records and price guides. The highest documented auction sales for authenticated 1961 D regular strikes and recognized varieties fall in the thousands to low tens of thousands of dollars, depending on grade and rarity. For example, auction results for 1961 D nickels in high grades have shown realized prices from roughly $7,000 to $13,000 in top grades like MS64. Typical error or proof varieties that have sold have also fetched premiums over average examples, but even these sales are generally well below the sort of multimillion-dollar figures often mentioned in viral social media posts. This is not to dismiss the possibility of discovering an extraordinarily unique piece. In numismatics, stranger things have happened, but solid documented evidence for a multimillion-dollar 1961 D sale simply does not appear in the mainstream auction records. Why then do such claims circulate? There are a few reasons. First, the internet exaggerates. Rare coin listings on sites like eBay often show high asking prices that far exceed realistic market values, and some sellers list error coins or specimens with inflated price tags hoping to attract attention. Second, emotional attachment and speculation can inflate perceived value. People love stories about accidental million-dollar coins found in pocket change. Third, certain coins in U.S. history have reached 7-figure values, but these are usually much older, extremely limited mintage gold coins or famous rarities with well-documented provenance, not mid-20th century nickels. These millionaire coin stories are real but exceptional and not typical for a 1961 D nickel. That said, If you have an extraordinary specimen with a confirmed and unique error that has never before been seen, that could potentially be worth a great deal after expert authentication. That's part of what makes coin collecting thrilling. So let's talk about how you can evaluate your own 1961 Jefferson nickel. First, look at the condition. Does it show wear? Does it still have original luster and sharp detail? A magnifying glass or loupe can help you inspect details like Jefferson's hair strands, the bevels of the letters, and the mint mark itself. Next, look for signs of doubling or unusual markings. Errors like double dies often show doubled lettering or design elements. But be cautious. Many apparent daubling that you might see with the naked eye are actually just die polish lines or surface marks that mimic errors. That's why professional grading and authentication matter. Submitting the coin to PCGS or NGC can clarify whether it's a true variety and assign it a grade. Coins certified as rare error varieties in high grades are more collectible and can command higher prices. Another key factor is eye appeal. Two coins with the same grade can sell for very different prices if one has better strike quality, more attractive surfaces, or uncommon toning. Some collectors prize coins with original, brilliant surfaces. Others value distinct natural toning. If you do believe you might have a rare high-value coin, consult multiple experts, get it graded, and compare auction results for similar certified coins. That's the responsible way to establish value and avoid misinformation. Now let's talk briefly about the market dynamics for Jefferson Nickels. The nickel collecting community is significant but not as broad as for quarters, dollars, or older rare coins. That means that while rare nickels can be valuable, the pool of buyers is more specialized. Demand for mid-century nickels is steady, but it's condition and scarcity, not sheer age, that drives prices. For example, among Jefferson Nickels, the true key dates and high-value coins are generally older issues or specific error/variety coins from the 1938 to 1950 era. These historically have lower mintages and fewer surviving high-grade examples, making them more sought after. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most talked-about coins in recent numismatic discussions. A coin that many people believe could be worth millions of dollars. I'm talking about the 2010 Canadian 5-cent coin, sometimes referred to simply as the 2010 Canadian nickel. This unassuming little coin has sparked curiosity among collectors around the world, and in this video I'm going to take you on a journey through its history, how it was made, why people think it could be valuable, what really determines value in the coin market, and how much it's actually worth today. So grab a notebook because we're going to unpack an incredible story about what might be the most surprising coin in your pocket. First, let's set the stage with a bit of background. The Canadian 5-cent coin has been a staple in Canada's currency system for decades. Since the early 1920s, Canada has produced 5-cent pieces with a beaver design on the reverse, symbolizing Canada's natural heritage and the historic importance of the fur trade. The beaver design is iconic, and it's one of the most recognized motifs on Canadian coins in circulation. In 2010, the Royal Canadian Mint struck millions of these coins. In fact, over 126 million 5-cent coins were produced that year, making this issue one of the more common in recent decades. With mintage numbers like that, it's safe to say that the 2010 nickel was everywhere, in pockets, wallets, registers, and banks across Canada. There was no special release, no limited edition, no unique metal or alloy composition that set it apart from other circulation coins that year. It was simply part of everyday Canadian change. Now let's talk about the design specifics, because understanding what the coin looks like helps collectors and viewers recognize it when they find it. On the obverse, the front of the coin, you will see the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. This is the standard effigy used during that period, featuring Her Majesty's profile facing right, surrounded by inscriptions identifying her status and title. On the reverse, the back, you'll see the beaver, a sturdy and detailed design element that has appeared on Canadian nickels for many decades. The denomination and the word Canada are clearly marked, and the metal composition is typical. A plated steel composition that makes the coin magnetic. Given how many were made and how often they circulated, most people assume these coins are worth only face value. And in reality, for the vast majority of coins from that year, that's exactly the case. Circulated examples, coins that have been used in everyday transactions, tend to trade for only a few cents above their face value. In fact, Sources that track recent collector pricing show typical 2010 Canadian 5-cent coins valued around 20 to 22 cents in Canadian dollars for circulated pieces. Uncirculated examples, those that never saw circulation, might command a little more from collectors, but most still sell for only a few dollars or less. You can even find listings on online marketplaces with these coins selling for just a couple of dollars a piece. So why do some videos and posts online claim that a 2010 Canada 5-cent coin is worth $4 million? There are a couple of reasons behind these stories, and it's important to separate mythology from reality in the coin market. Firstly, in the world of numismatics, that is coin collecting, there is a lot of excitement around rare error coins. Error coins are pieces that came off the press with some kind of manufacturing mistake. These mistakes might include things like off-center strikes, die cracks, double die impressions, or missing metal. Certain error coins can be valuable because they are rare and highly sought after by collectors. There are indeed error varieties of many different Canadian coins, and if authenticated and graded by professional services, some error coins can sell for significantly more than face value. However, for the 2010 Canadian 5-cent coin, there are no widely recognized error varieties that have sold for extraordinary sums. There is no record of a 2010 nickel selling at auction for millions of dollars, and major pricing guides do not list any standard or error variety of the 2010 nickel at anywhere near that level. Another reason for the confusion is the way some content online sensationalizes coin values. Videos might select a dramatic title claiming a 5-cent coin is worth millions, but when you actually watch the content, it turns out they are talking about a completely different coin or an extremely rare pattern or prototype that has nothing to do with the standard 2010 issue. Some channels even use generic stock footage or titles that are designed to attract clicks rather than present verified information, so let's clear that up right now. A normal circulation 2010 Canada 5-cent coin, even in uncirculated or brilliant condition, is not worth millions of dollars. Collectors will pay small premiums for coins in top condition, especially those graded by professional grading services, but the documented market prices for this issue stay in a modest range. If you look at current catalogs and selling platforms, high-grade 2010 nickels might be worth several dollars at most, and that's in perfect, pristine condition that's rarely found in everyday change. That doesn't mean the coin has no collector interest. On the contrary, collectors of Canadian coinage often include 2010 nickels in date sets or want uncirculated examples to complete a run of coins. Being aware of the design history helps when building a collection. Collectors also enjoy examining coins for subtle anomalies or die variations that could make a particular specimen slightly more interesting. So what does drive real value in coins? In general, value can come from several factors. One is rarity. The fewer coins made or surviving, the more collectors might pay. Another is condition. Coins that have been perfectly preserved since they were minted often fetch higher prices because they are pleasing to collectors and scarce in high grades. A third factor is historical significance. Coins from important eras or with unique stories can capture the imagination of collectors and command higher prices. Error varieties can also fetch premiums, but they must be authenticated and documented as true mint errors by professional grading services. In the case of the 2010 Canadian nickel, it ticks only one of these boxes. There are many of them to go around, so rarity is not a factor. There's nothing historically unique about the 2010 design compared to other years in the series, and while some uncirculated examples may exist in high grade, they are still plentiful. For these reasons, the real market value, based on verified auction sales and price guides, stays grounded in modest territory. That said, whenever you're handling coins from any year, it's worth keeping an eye out for oddities. If you find a 2010 nickel that looks unusual, perhaps the design is significantly off-center, or there's doubling on the date, those might be examples worth having examined by a professional. Third-party grading services like NGC or PCGS can authenticate and assign a grade, which sometimes brings out collector interest that you wouldn't see in an ordinary marketplace sale. As we wrap up, let me leave you with this takeaway. The 2010 Canada 5-cent coin is a fascinating object because it's so familiar to Canadians. It spent years in change, paid for coffees, transit fares, and groceries across the country. But as neat as that story is, the reality of the coin's collector market value is rooted in everyday numismatics, not in millions of dollars. If you love coins, if you enjoy learning about their history, and if you appreciate the subtle details that make every issue unique, then keep exploring. Value isn't always about numbers. Sometimes it's about the story, and the joy of discovery when you pick up a coin and learn something new. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of coins. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is one you absolutely do not want to skip, because we are talking about a modern coin that most people completely ignore, spend every day, or leave sitting in jars and drawers without a second thought. We are diving deep into the 2016 D Mint Mark Jefferson Nickel, a coin that looks ordinary at first glance, but has shocked collectors with stories, rumors, and confirmed sales of rare error examples reaching life-changing money, with some extreme specimens valued up to $1 million. Stay with me till the end of this video because I will explain the full history, design, minting process, rare errors, condition factors, and exactly what to look for so you do not accidentally spend a fortune. The Jefferson Nickel has a long and fascinating history in American coinage. First introduced in 1938, it replaced the Buffalo nickel and was designed by Felix Schlag. The coin was created to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. Over the decades, the Jefferson Nickel has gone through multiple design changes, metal composition adjustments, and minting improvements, yet it remains one of the most widely produced and circulated coins in U.S. history. By the time we reach the year 2016, the Jefferson Nickel had already been in production for nearly 8 decades. Many people assume that modern coins cannot be valuable because they are recent and mass-produced. This assumption is exactly why rare modern coins slip through unnoticed. The 2016 D Jefferson Nickel was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the most important U.S. mint facilities, known for producing high-quality circulation coins with the D Mint Mark. In 2016, the United States Mint produced hundreds of millions of Jefferson Nickels for circulation. The Denver Mint alone struck an enormous quantity of 2016 D nickels to meet everyday demand. On paper, this high mintage would suggest that the coin should only be worth face value. However, coin value is not determined by age alone. It is determined by rarity, demand, condition, and most importantly, minting errors and special characteristics. Let's talk about the design of the 2016 D Jefferson Nickel. On the obverse, you see a modern forward-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson. This portrait was introduced in 2006 and replaced the older profile design. Jefferson's face appears detailed and bold, with sharp features when the coin is well struck. The word Liberty appears to the right, with the date 2016 and the motto "In God We Trust." On the reverse side, the coin features Monticello, Jefferson's historic home in Virginia. The image of Monticello is clean and symmetrical on normal examples, with the word Monticello at the top, 5 cents at the bottom, and United States of America with the motto E Pluribus Unum. The metal composition of the 2016 D Jefferson Nickel is the standard modern nickel alloy consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel. It weighs exactly 5 grams and has a diameter of 21.21 millimeters. These specifications may sound boring, but any deviation from these standards can instantly turn an ordinary coin into a highly valuable error. Now let's get into the real reason collectors are excited about the 2016 D Jefferson Nickel. Rare mint errors. Errors are mistakes that occur during the minting process, and modern errors can be just as valuable, sometimes even more valuable, than older ones because they are unexpected and often dramatic. One of the most valuable errors known on modern Jefferson Nickels is the double die error. A double die occurs when the coin die receives a misaligned impression during its creation, resulting in doubled lettering, numbers, or design elements. On a 2016 D Jefferson Nickel, doubling may appear on Jefferson's eye, nose, lips, or the word Liberty. Strong, clearly visible doubling can push values into the tens of thousands, and in extreme, perfectly preserved cases much higher. Another major error to look for is the off-center strike. An off-center 2016 D Jefferson Nickel may show part of the design missing, with a blank area where the coin was not fully struck. The more dramatic and centered the off-strike while still showing the date and mint mark, the more valuable the coin becomes. High-grade off-center examples have sold for astonishing amounts. One of the rarest and most valuable possibilities is a wrong planchet error. This happens when a coin is struck on a metal blank intended for a different denomination or even a different coin altogether. Imagine a 2016 D Jefferson Nickel struck on a planchet meant for a dime, a foreign coin, or an experimental blank. These errors are extremely rare and can command prices that climb into six figures or more. Collectors have also discovered clipped planchet errors on some 2016 D nickels. A clipped planchet occurs when a portion of the metal blank is missing before the coin is struck, leaving a curved or straight missing edge. While minor clips are valuable, large, dramatic clips in pristine condition can reach very high prices. Another error category that has stunned the coin community is the broadstrike error. A broadstrike happens when a coin is struck without the collar that normally shapes the edge, causing the coin to spread out wider than normal. Broadstruck 2016 D Jefferson Nickels with strong detail and mint state condition are extremely desirable. Now let's talk about condition, because condition is everything when it comes to modern coins. Most 2016 D Jefferson Nickels found in circulation are heavily worn, scratched, or damaged. These are only worth face value. However, coins that were never circulated and preserved in mint state condition can be worth significantly more, even without errors. Mint state coins are graded on a scale from MS60 to MS70. A perfect MS70 coin has no visible imperfections even under magnification. These coins are incredibly rare, especially for circulation strikes. A 2016 D Jefferson nickel graded MS68, MS69, or MS70 by a major grading service like PCGS or NGC can command impressive premiums. Now let's address the million-dollar question. How can a 2016 D Jefferson nickel be worth $1 million? The answer lies in a perfect storm of rarity, error type, condition, and collector demand. A unique or extremely rare error, such as a dramatic double die combined with a wrong planchet strike, preserved in near-perfect condition and certified by a top grading service, can reach legendary status in the numismatic world. When a coin like this appears at auction, wealthy collectors compete aggressively because they know they may never see another example again. This competitive bidding is what pushes prices into astonishing territory, sometimes approaching or reaching the $1 million mark at IT. Is important to understand that not every 2016 D Jefferson nickel is worth a fortune. The vast majority are still worth 5 cents. But the possibility that one rare example could change someone's life is what makes coin collecting so exciting. So how do you check your own coins? Start by looking closely at the date and mint mark. Make sure it clearly reads 2016 with a D mint mark. Then examine the coin under good lighting and magnification. Look for doubling on letters and numbers, unusual thickness, missing details, off-center designs, cracks, or anything that looks abnormal. Next, weigh the coin with a precise digital scale. Any difference from the standard 5 grams could indicate a wrong planchet or missing metal. Measure the diameter and thickness if possible. If you believe you have found something special, do not clean the coin. Cleaning can destroy value instantly. Place it in a protective holder and consider sending it to a professional grading service for authentication and grading. The story of the 2016 D Jefferson nickel reminds us that valuable coins are not always old, silver, or gold. Sometimes, incredible treasures are hiding in plain sight, right in your pocket change. Before we end this video, remember that coin collecting is about knowledge, patience, and attention to detail. The more you learn, the better your chances of spotting something extraordinary. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2016 D Jefferson nickel and want more videos about modern coins worth huge money, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Check your change carefully, because the next nickel you find could be the one that changes everything. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.